Before I begin, I want to elaborate a bit on myself so you may see my story objectively and not stigmatize my previous experiences that led me there. In 2016, when I was 16 years of age, I had been hospitalized for overworking myself in school. I was part of the AP US history class in which we were competing with other specialized high schools in New York City. I was also treasurer of the National Honor Society, I was on yearbook committee, the head of a student-organized monthly talent show, and I was secretary of student government. I was merely a junior in high school trying to apply into a college that would assist me in pursuing the pre-med track. Therefore, I was pushing myself beyond my own limitations, to which I got very depressed and burnt out. I was hospitalized in a psychiatric hospital, which is not an asylum. Ultimately, you get to go to a school in the hospital, then group therapy, meet with doctors, pet therapy, talk with peers your age, and then leave back to your normal life or partial program, where you do the same thing, except you get to go back home at the end of the day. When I was discharged from the psychiatric hospital after 2 weeks, they sent me to a partial hospitalization program. I have had a history of major depressive disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. The symptoms were usually just getting very anxious and crying, but keep in mind I had always been very level-headed throughout my life. I told the doctors there that I couldn't stop having nightmares and had too much anxiety to sleep. They prescribed me a few sleeping medications, but they didn't really work. Then they tried a medication called Ambien. If you look at the side effects, hallucinations is a very big one. I remember seeing my parents being zoomed in and then extremely far away within seconds. My mother was with me, as well as my grandfather, trying to get me to drink water to hopefully flush the medication out of my system. We had the lights on and the TV as well at the time, but then I saw figures I'll never be able to forget. They weren't scary but very strange. They were shadow people or shadow children. They were somewhere in between if I remember correctly. They had blue and yellow glowing eyes. One was waving to me and the other was trying to hand me what I believed to be books, but I could be wrong. There were two in particular from what I could remember, just sitting on top of my furniture almost touching the ceiling. They seemed more friendly than evil. They were also two-dimensional beings. Their eyes were the size of baseballs and they had small heads, or maybe it was the size of their eyes that made their heads look small. I was not scared at all. But when I told other people about it, they seemed as if they would be frightened. I looked into it later to then find that the term shadow people I thought I had coined for them was already put into existence. There were websites, forums, etc. just talking about the shadow people and who they are. From what I felt, even though I was hallucinating because of the drug, I don't feel they are evil beings. I am not sure whether they are spirits or of another dimension. Please let me know what you think. Thank you for watching.